Well, of course, the big news today is that the January 6th committee, are you ready? Wait for it, wait for it. They referred Donald Trump to the DOJ for criminal prosecution. We knew this was coming. This is not a bombshell. It's something that the lying legacy corporate corrupt mainstream media is going to run with ad nauseum from now until, well, 2024. And Merrick Garland will drag this out, drag this out, drag this out. But at the end of the day, it'll be like the whole Mueller investigation hogwash. It was designed to be dragged out and prolonged when, in reality, everybody going into it knew the fallacy of it, understood that the collusion accusation was pure hogwash fabrication right from jump. Everybody played their little part to do one thing and one thing only: derail Donald Trump, stall the Trump agenda, keep him mired down in controversy, turmoil, and litigation. And of course, what happened? When it was all over and done, nothing. They even tried to impeach him over it, nothing. And there's ample evidence of what Donald Trump actually said that day, how he actually tried to quell things down. And we could get into an entire discussion as to, were there operatives among the people that day not there to observe, not there to quote unquote arrest if need be, but rather to purposely agitate and create and manufacture and make something happen that would not have happened had they not done what they did. Because we know that certain members of those alphabet communities, you know the ones of which I refer to, who have been active at this since the 1960s during the civil rights era, trying to create the illusion that it was black anarchists driving Martin Luther King and it would send the country into absolute turmoil and chaos. And so they committed crimes, even though they themselves had taken an oath to, uphold the law. But they discovered the power of creating the narrative. And is that what happened? Well, we have to be very careful because, big tech, they got a problem with this thing called the truth and asking questions. So we know that the mainstream media will talk about this ad nauseum. It's another distraction, and it's yet to be another. You don't want Donald Trump. You don't want Donald Trump in his baggage. Take even the never Trumpers and the rhinos. They're going to give you Ron DeSantis. Just take him. They like Ron DeSantis, which ought to make every one of you back up and go, why do the never Trumpers like Ron DeSantis? Why do the rhinos like Ron DeSantis? What about him don't we know? And I'm going to be getting into that over the next weeks and months here. But Ron DeSantis has done something that I've seen a lot of headlines. DeSantis pivots to the right of Trump on vaccination. Bum, ba-dum, bum. DeSantis' people smell blood in the water and that Trump is vulnerable among his base on what we would call love potion number 9. I have to be careful what I say here. Now, in Donald Trump's defense, when you had Fauci and Pence running the show, I am sure Donald Trump thought the only way I'm going to be able to unlock America and get everybody back to normal and get everybody feeling good and let's get things moving again. Let's not lose an election and be derailed and tank an entire economy over a virus. The only way I can get things moving again is people have got to feel safe. And the only way they're going to feel safe is if we have love potion number 9. Which is why even the Democrats, Kamala thinks she's a hottie Harris, and then Governor Andrew Cuomo saying he wouldn't take it, not if Donald Trump was, no way. Like he was in a lab coat and in a science lab somewhere actually concocting and making the vaccine himself. But once Trump was out of office, Shazam, Batman, we got boatloads of this stuff. Now, Trump at first tried to take credit for all of that. And I warned him, don't do it. Number one, it's not a popular issue with your base. And number two, as we're now seeing things heat up and you've got Governor Ron DeSantis leading the charge in Florida about suing Big Pharma over the effects of love potion number 9. If it gets to the point where the courts will not do the Biden bidding and actually start letting Big Pharma take some real serious hits, you are going to watch Fauci and you are going to watch Dementia Joe throw Donald Trump under the bus. This was all his fault. He rushed it. He pushed, blah, 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 blah. So this is an issue where Donald Trump is vulnerable. Donald Trump could end this if he would simply right now come forward and say, I really thought that was the only way we were going to get things unlocked and back to normal. I now see that I was pushed into making a decision I should not have made. That kills this. But DeSantis trying to move to the right of Trump. Trump needs a big idea. I told you this in my last commentary. And some of you are able to get videos to places that I can't get them to. So get this. I don't care. I don't care if any other conservative commentator takes credit for what I'm about to do. This is what has to happen for Donald Trump to regain traction in all of this. He's got to have a big idea. When he took that escalator ride in 2016, he had a big idea. Immigration. Nobody was talking about immigration until Donald Trump brought it up. And Donald Trump needs an idea. He needs something that he's got to get all of the Republicans have got to get on board with. That even if they hate, loathe, and despise Donald Trump, if they're going to campaign, if they're going to try to seek the nomination, that the base immediately clicks with this idea in such a way that all Republicans then have to run on it. And here it is. Here is the big idea Trump needs to run on. Government health care. I know, some of you, your heads just exploded. Listen, breathe, count to 10, let me explain. It's no longer a luxury idea. We live in a time people really do go bankrupt. They lose everything over health care costs. We can provide health care for all. Now, I have always supported the idea. My hesitancy has been in two areas. First, the government never runs anything well. Name me one thing that the government actually does that it's their sole responsibility and they're completely in charge of and they've got bureaucrats to take care of it. Name me one thing that the government runs well. The reason, especially at this time of the year, Christmas, and trying to get packages where they need to be on time, you don't go to the post office. You go to FedEx, you go to UPS. We need government health care, so everybody's covered. We need a non-governmental agency making it happen on a day-to-day basis, actually taking care of the nuts and bolts and making it happen. My other issue, and this stems from the pandemic, if everybody was on government health care, you probably would not have had any choice but to get the Fauci ouchie, or they would have pulled your health coverage. So somehow there still has to be built into that concept the idea that people still have rights, and they have rights over their body, and that can't be infringed upon. You can't deny me my health care if I don't want to take your so-called love potion, number 9. But if Donald Trump would come out, and not just in platitudes of a real nationalized healthcare program and actually start rolling out, here's how we will do it. He's got the money, put together a team right now to start developing it so he can start talking about it, campaigning on it. Stop talking about the past, start looking forward. Have the big idea, and I'm telling you, the big idea that will resonate with people is national health care. You will see even moderates on the Democratic side of the aisle get excited about that. Mr. President, let me give you a piece of advice. When you don't like the conversation people are having about you, stop trying to fight and argue and persuade your way out of it. Change the conversation. Change the conversation. You need to come out not with the same old rhetoric about you're being picked on and they stole the election and all, get away from all of that. Get away from it. Don't even talk about it anymore. Come out with the big idea that immediately grabs people, resonates with people, and they go, yeah. Flip the script, change the narrative.